Is this thing on?
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome
real-
back to the Carving and Coffee Show, episode 91.
That's right, everyone. Welcome.
I've got my festive Canada Dry ready to crack.
All right. Got my hot coffee.
There we go.
The Ginger Ellen Coffee Show.
You betcha. I can't drink coffee at this hour.
Right.
I'll be up all night.
Mm.
Never used to be a problem until a few years ago. But
Yeah, I get that. I have the same problem if I drink it straight. So.
uh-huh.
Yeah. It's half calf. That's what I've got. Yeah. Very good. How are you?
I am better than I was. How's that?
That's good. That's a good thing, I think, on the whole.
I still got a bit of a rattle, but no, I feel...
in terms of the sickness, I got you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I got sicker after we recorded last week.
Did you?
Even worse, yeah. Yeah. But anyway,
That's a bummer.
Seems to be on its way out, but yeah, there's just a remnant rattle in my lungs, but otherwise, we're good to go.
What do you reckon you had?
I reckon I had what everybody else had, and we can't say the word without being flagged.
Uh-oh.
And get safety information on the... Remember we put that in the title once last year? This big information package was automatically put underneath of our episode.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Kind of weird.
It's funny, though. Nobody cares anymore.
Right.
2 years ago, you'd have been locked away for 2 weeks in your house. And now it's like, But
Very true.
anyway, enough about that. I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm well. I'm coming off of a lot of errands and running around and dropping things off and a lot of driving today, which I actually enjoyed a lot. So it's nice. It's nice to be on the road when you're in the right mindset to do that. It's a fun thing. It's like a nice break. So
I was picturing summer drives last night. I already miss it. I already miss the warm evenings.
Well, you have a unique thing going on with that truck you have. You've got this Jeep with a soft top or a hard top that you can take off, and that makes it a lot more fun to drive around in the summertime than for most, right?
Yeah, for sure. I was telling somebody my favorite memory of a summer night wasn't in the summer. It was in the wintertime. And it's burned right in my brain because I flew to Paris and then flew down to Africa. And I think it was February, Canada. I left here in the snow and the cold and took 3 of these little flights. And then we landed out in this field and just walking off the plane, just the heat of Africa and the smell of wood smoke in the air. It was it was late at night too. So that was my favorite memory ever of that. So
Wow.
there you go. But yeah, something like that just gets burned in your brain. You can recall it at any time. It's kind of fun.
Right.
So, anyway, that's all I have to say is, we did a lot of summer night drives with Jeep with the top off and stuff. It was nice. But now it's cold. It's winter. It's actually winter. So got a bit of snow today, but not too much.
Okay.
Yours hanging around there?
No, really just rain. It's below the freezing mark, or rather above the freezing mark. So we don't have a lot in terms of snow on the ground, but mostly just sort of like cold and rainy. So, yeah.
Anyway, what have you been up to?
Yeah, today was delivery day for that. For those of you who remember back for a couple of weeks ago, I made this video about carving a sign, and I gave some advice about that based on my some of my misfortune and some of my learning experiences, some of my growth through that project. And I I actually would like to rescind a couple of things that I said on there. One of the things that I said, but I delivered that bad boy. It had been sitting around in my my friend's wood shop for a while, and then finally got back to it and to delivering it. Coordinated with the contractor. That was a big thing, is finding the guy who could, who could install it for him. Being that I couldn't do it for him at this time. It's really not my thing anyway to install or do contract work. So and so yeah, I delivered that thing, and we had this really fun conversation, and he gave me a tour of the sauna facility, because the sign that I did was for the exterior. It's kind of the main sign, the front and center sign for his sauna building, and he's got a kind of different stations with tubs and sauna station, shower areas. It really is kind of neat the way that this 100-year-old or whatever 80-year-old building has just kind of consistently done the same thing for people, and is still in business all these years later. And one of the few places in the Michigan area that does this, as far as I know. So it's very cool.
Do you have any idea how they're going to mount it? Was it going to be off the wall, or was it going to be they're going to have clips on the back, or they're not going to screw right through the face? Are they?
Well, yeah. So they're planning on doing something to the effect of getting it off the wall with some 2x4s, and then they might screw into the face. I'm not sure. I didn't stick around to find out, but regardless, I'm sure it'll be done pretty well, and I'm looking forward to seeing it up, because I was surprised as to how well the wood responded. Having carved white cedar, I forgot about how carvable it is, and so doing this project, I got into it with a hand tool at one point and realized it's not that much harder to hand carve this thing than it is to do it with the with the big carving, the router and the the other tools, the Manpa and the carbide tool. So it was really fun to be able to kind of combine both the power and the hand tools for this massive thing. It was cathartic. I talked about it a couple of episodes ago, but it was like, it just felt relaxing to only have the concern of this kind of very basic schematic, these letters just to outline and then remove the background. It's nice to have that. So that's what that was the deal for that past that was a week-long project 3 weeks ago. But yeah, so now that that's well and done and finished and burned, I got the opportunity to use my big torch on it, which was super fun. It's kind of nice to see it going up for once, instead of just sitting around in a building covered in dust. But yeah, so that was that. Yeah, so that happened. Good.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if we have white cedar here. All the cedar that I ever see or use is red.
Yeah.
And now the white cedar, is that the cedar that I've seen you guys chainsaw carving that has red streaks in it?
No, that's pine. You're thinking of the pine. The red, the really deep purple red stuff that's aromatic red cedar. That is it's in the juniper family. People think that it's cedar because it's labeled that, but it's actually in the juniper family. It's not a cedar proper, but
and that's not my red cedar either. Like my red cedar is really just a brown.
Right. We have that too. To be honest, the white stuff is not that common. It's more of like a northern thing. Like in the UP, we've got it. So
yeah. Like I said, I don't recall ever seeing it around here. So.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of it either, but it's really nice to carve. The cedars in general as a whole are nice to carve. Juniper is great to carve. I might even prefer the white cedar to the juniper, though. It's great. So yeah, so I did that, and then we had the carving launch this past week, and so so that just is buttoning up projects from the daily warm-ups and YouTube videos and various odds and ends that I had around the shop. To get the pictures taken, get it all posted, and that was kind of It's a fun thing. I enjoy the photography aspect of it because I don't really have to worry about photography as much as I used to, being that the main way that I document things is no longer photo. It's mostly video. So
Yeah.
for YouTube and for Instagram and all that. So yeah, so I just spent the day with Sam focusing on helping him to get the tune in the really dial in the photos with the backdrop and talking to him about the lighting. And it's really great because I could sense that he was eating it up and that he had learned a lot from the last experience we had, which, we had to basically trash the prior work session we had regarding photography because he had kind of gone on a tangent with something and I wasn't totally happy with it. And so it was a bummer, but you can tell that lesson burned into his skull because he did such an amazing job the second time around with the photography. He learned, I mean, if I had learned that as quickly as he has, I'd have been a much better photographer a lot quicker. So just getting those photos dialed in was the main thing. And then while he was doing that, I was just buttoning up carvings, clear coating or detailing and refining things, making adjustments, sometimes just cleaving off whole big sections of carvings at the last second, just because I can. And I felt like it. And that went up, and so that's live now, and there's carvings available on there, and this is a quirky release. There's a lot of weird.
It was. I saw the video you showed them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was fun for me. I don't know if it's fun for anyone else, but I it's probably my personal favorite, probably launch of the past few. But as far as having fun making the stuff, but yeah, so that's up now, and yeah, I could go on. I'll hold off on some of this stuff because I think it's maybe better for the kind of conversation topic today. But just to get to it quickly, I'd made some videos. I made a couple of videos with Sam on carving an owl. I posted about this barn owl, and we're trying a new kind of like voiceover format, similar to what's the guy's name? There's a couple guys. There's a lot. I mean, tons of carvers that do this on YouTube where they narrate, and I like the ability. We've started playing with that, and I like the ability of like thinking through it after the fact, having that retrospective perspective makes for a better video.
I'm trying to think. Who's that stick maker?
Oh, Stinnett's a good example. Stinnett's a great example.
He tells like a little bit of a story, and he's got great voice to go with it, and a little bit of music, and it's a nice little story. He's showing you as he's doing it. He's not really teaching you, so he has that play to throw in talking about the dog,
right?
Or and make a little story with it. It's really fun.
Yeah, exactly. There's a great example of one. I hadn't even thought of him, but there's so many folks that do that, and I see why now. Having experimented with it, it's just a nice, easy format. So playing with that with the voiceovers has been fun, and just trying to find my own voice in that, and the trial and error that goes into it, and then made a vlog. I'm actually working on my first blog in a long time that's connected to a video that I'm posting tomorrow about doing things that you don't like and how the whole thing plays out, and how and this might tie into a potential topic either in this video or the next, but it's regarding doing the things that you have to do, the important things in your work that you don't like, and doing those things as though you love them. Like that whole game of playing with your mindset on stuff. And so started a blog on that, which is fun. I just figure, I might as well keep the skills sharp, the writing skills, since I just finished the book with Fox Chapel. I might as well try to maintain that and that energy, that writing thing, the impulse, so that I still have that.
Well, here's a question for you. You say keeping your skills sharp. So, how are you with your photography going back? Because you're using your pro camera. You're not just using your phone. You're using a real camera.
Right.
Do you remember every time you pick up the camera exactly what to do to get?
I know all the settings, but the things what I forget about is not the basic concepts anymore. I used to pick up a camera and go like, what the heck does this do? What the heck does that do? I don't remember what this affects. But now I know the settings, I know the buttons, I know what they do. But but that, I guess the buttons, that's the part. So a lot of times I'll forget which button does what because there's, 30 buttons on my camera,
Yeah, because
So
you at one time you took great photos, and like you said, you hadn't been doing it for a while, but the recall was there.
yep.
You can teach me. I have it's not even a good camera anymore with the
Hmm.
new cameras, but I have a Canon 80D,
Yeah.
and you could teach me how to take the perfect shot. And 3 days later, I pick up my camera and go, oh, duh.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I just can't recall. I just because I don't do it enough, right?
Exactly.
I
Yep.
remember one time I was on a camping trip and this guy taught me how to take the beautiful star pictures and the
Hmm.
moon and everything and silhouettes of the trees.
Yeah.
I could never recreate it.
Mm.
But
Yeah. It's all about just actually
learning it
having.
and using it, yeah.
Yeah. It has to like be in your bones. Like for years it was never there. I mean, I had to relearn it every time. It was embarrassing. I mean, up until maybe just like a year or two ago, when I started doing YouTube, and I forced myself to use the manual settings on my camera, and a lot of it was investing in the equipment. It when it's done properly, because some people just buy gear, especially dudes. We love to buy gear that we don't end up using half of the capabilities. But on the other side of that, what I've been able to do at times is to buy a piece of equipment that I know that I'll use that's a little bit above what I need, and that guilt of having spent that money forces me to learn every bit of how to use it. And so that's kind of what happened with this last camera. I've had other cameras before. I've overspent. I have more camera than I need right now, but it kind of like pushed me, the guilt of not learning it, of spending all of that money and not learning how to freaking use it. It's like you pick the thing up, you spent $3.5 grand on all the lenses and when you tally everything up, and then using it's great. Being able to know what the buttons do. So finally
Yeah.
to that point.
Ah. Yeah, no, that drives me crazy. That's why, in fact, talking about being a dude, I bought multiple cameras in a row,
Oh yeah.
just trying to for the autofocus,
Oh.
thinking that, and you can't carve and in hand carve
Mm-hmm.
and focus on one thing. So you have to learn the manual
Yep.
to have a broad focus.
Yep.
But I just
Yep.
kept buying different cameras.
Yeah, so just a really quick word on that. This is super esoteric to most people, but for like the 5 people who are you right now and who were me like 2 years ago, the big thing is, and maybe some video guy out there is like yelling at the screen going, no, he's wrong. But from my understanding now, when you open up the f-stop, when you increase the f-stop, so what the f-stop does, it permits it relates to the shutter, but the more that you open up the f-stop, the larger the number it is, the more it allows in focus. So
Yeah.
if you take the f-stop and throw it up to like 10, it's very, very difficult for that thing to go out of focus. You can move it, half of a foot away from the camera or half a foot closer, and it's still going to be in focus because that depth of field is very open.
Yeah.
So that's an easy way of keeping it in manual focus. And again, many of you have complained about my videos, and it took me that long to kind of figure out how to dial it in. But yeah, it's not all that complicated when you really get down to it. It just takes a while to learn the rules. But
Well, when we get to media, I'll share with you why I'd like to learn how to take good pictures again.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can guess why. Yeah, I mean that's the gist of it. What about you, man? What's been you up to?
Well, I just been working a lot all weekend. I got 2 days off. I think I was back at the church on my 2 days off, probably 12 hours.
Wow.
Christmas
Wow.
banquets,
Oh,
concerts,
yeah, that makes sense.
and
Yep.
all this stuff. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
I don't remember if I showed last week's. Did I show the little soldier boys last week?
You did.
So-
They weren't Were they painted? I can't remember.
Well, anyway,
Yeah, they were
Here's-
painted. Yep.
these guys. So,
Yeah, those are very, very fun.
yeah, I had a lot of fun with those guys. So I got that video up and out.
Yep.
And did I talk about the bases?
Yes, yeah, you talked about the bases.
Okay, well, I
Yep,
talked
yep,
about everything because anyway, I love that. I still love it. That's
yep.
one thing that I'm definitely going to continue.
Put the
So
bases
speak,
into their carving. Yeah.
I think so. And then I'm kind of just working on prototypes right now for next week. I'm thinking
Mm.
well, this is just a
Nice. Yep.
snowman, but with a little slight head turn,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I like
So
that. Wow.
I'm going to do a bunch more and
That's a
see if
that's a really nice carve.
maybe we'll put some sweaters or something on it, or
Yep.
we'll see. But that's kind of what I'm headed for. I
I
wasn't
love the
sure.
expression on his face. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different than I've done in the past. So it's nice to give a snowman cheeks, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Why not?
but I dabbled around. My wife has all these little. There's so many carvings in this house now. So every season she comes down here and just robs me blind. And she, in fact, it's funny. She opened a box of Christmas decorations, and there's a whole box of Christmas carvings in there that I totally forgot about. But anyway, she keeps setting up all these little scenes all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept buying these little dollar store pine trees.
Hmm.
And I said, you can't, that's against the law. We can't do that. So
Yep.
then I said, I went and I was just dabbling. And I don't think that's a video, but
Oh, cool.
just a regular little
Yeah,
tree.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know if that's worthy of a video, but it was fun
Yep.
just to wing it. And then,
Yeah, so
yeah,
I think I talked about it last year, but I bought this I did talk about it on the podcast, this cutout of a tree from Target. It was like a big one. And I don't think I'll ever do it either, but the plan was I told you guys I was going to do it and I never did it. But the plan was to like carve it into like use it as a block out. It's right here. I'll just grab it.
yeah, just grab it. Just grab it. Because while you're doing that, I think I have,
Yeah, it looks like a perfect like rough out for a carving.
yes. Yep.
Right. But I never did it. And I don't know that I will, but
Larry
kinda-
Green.
maybe you're
That's
motivating me.
That's the shape. Look,
Yeah,
seems,
that's cool. I was just thinking about that, but I probably got that thought from you. Yeah, putting a face in it.
this is yeah. Larry Green kind of came up with this carving, and
Mhm.
I love Larry Green. Great carver, great guy,
Hmm.
and he came up with that. And I actually have a video on that with his blessing. He was so happy that I did it, and
Aw.
yeah. So yeah, I still like that.
Yeah,
I
that's
made
cool.
pink ones and blue ones. They all look great.
Yeah.
I mean, the grandkids all have them.
No.
But yeah. Is that all I did? That's about all I did, man. Honestly, I just been working and yeah, someone emailed me and said you need to go and lay down for a few days. I was like, oh yeah, that'd be really nice, but not yet.
Right. Yeah,
So
I always feel like depending on what you get, obviously, but if you get sick and it's tolerable, I feel like you get over it quicker when you move around. You know, and you get the and actually that's kind of supported by what little I know about the health element is that, you know, when you get the lymph flowing, you get your blood moving, it can move some of the congestion and move some of the inflammation through. And so light movement, light exercise, working throughout the day is probably not hurting you more than helping you as long as you're not working too hard. But
well, I know every time that I hurt myself, either my back or whatever, if I throw
yeah,
something out or whatever, it's just like keep working, don't
yep.
stop. As soon as you stop, it just starts
Mm-hmm.
creeping in. You can't move, so work through the pain.
Yeah, you kind of
It's
have
actually,
to.
well, it's good advice and it's terrible advice because you don't know what you actually did. So sometimes
Yeah,
you can really hurt yourself. I
right.
remember the quick story. Sophie will hear this. She did something to her ankle, and I said, "Just walk it off. Let's go. We went hiking or something." I said, "You'll be fine. You're fine."
Yeah.
And it just got worse and worse. It
Mhm.
swelled up. So it's good advice and bad advice at the same time. So
Yep.
I guess it depends what it is, but
Yeah. Consult a doctor before you take either of our advice. That's for sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's I got nothing. I got nothing.
Yeah.
So, what was your?
It's tough. It's tough with the holidays. I feel the same way as like we've had multiple Christmas parties, birthday parties this week. Well, let's see. One Christmas part. Was it one Christmas party? Yeah, it feels like there's just something going on most nights, like a church thing, a friend thing, a family thing this week. So it takes away from
Yeah.
your
And,
carving life.
and I can already see this weekend coming is going to be just as bad.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I had to go shopping.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. The Christmas shopping has begun too. So
Horrible experience.
oh,
But,
I love that. See, this is why I have an online product. I don't want to handle. I don't want to go take anything anywhere. I don't like shipping and handling.
well,
I don't. Yeah.
like I live in rural small town Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
So to go to the big box stores and stuff, I have to go to the city, which is a half hour away. I could murder somebody in the parking lots, like already early December. Like everyone's just fighting everybody. Everyone wants that parking spot, and you just drive around circles and like, oh, this is the worst.
Yeah.
So I hate it.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that ties into the other thing I guess I've been doing this week is the influx of students to the school because of Cyber Monday, of course, before that, Black Friday, has made me just kind of glued to my email. I mean, just so many folks have been just back and forth, with me about forgetting passcodes or, just like stuff that I am hilariously bad at taking care of. Like I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that, and so I've had to kind of manage that without a web guy this past couple of weeks. So it's been funny, so it's taken up time. But the school is definitely it's picked up, and that's a very positive thing. But it also comes with the downside of having to be glued to my computer trying to help people out with that. So
yeah, well that was a good sale on the weekend. And what did you title the last one? Heck with it, we'll keep going or something.
Yeah. Well, I realized Cyber Monday is done and over with. Almost everybody's doing Cyber Week now. It's like might as well just do it. If people want to join and they give them the opportunity to join. So
no, that's good.
Yeah, but I interrupted you.
No, I was you had a topic to discuss.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just this idea of in everything that we do. I remember when I was a struggling teenager, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with my life in terms of my career. And I met with this guidance counselor that my mom hired to help me out. And we sat down in this office room and she said, "What is it that you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I mean, blah, blah, blah. I'm interested in carving, so on and so forth." And she said, "Well, here's the thing. You might not like some aspects of carving, right?" And I said, "Yeah, the trouble is I'm alone a lot and, it's isolating and I'm an extrovert and, I'm concerned about the financial aspect of it. Everyone's telling me, it's a piss poor way of making money." She's like, "Okay, well, just because I like sewing does not mean that I like pattern making. And pattern making is a necessary and important part of sewing. You have to do it. If you're going to sew, you have to cut out the pattern unless you're just freewheeling it." And so, this idea of doing the parts of your work that you don't enjoy and not allowing that to taint the parts that you do enjoy was relevant to me then, and it's still relevant. I still haven't shaken that thing of, I really dislike certain parts of what I do. And so, the moving past that has been important. And what I found that's been most helpful lately is this meditation of doing the parts of your work, the necessary parts of your work that you don't enjoy, as though you enjoy them. It's literally going, instead of, it's paying attention to what's happening up here, because you and I both have talked about this before, this internal struggle that we have of going, I'm not good at this. This isn't turning out well. I'm not having fun right now. I hate doing this. And then eventually throwing it out or whatever. In your case, sometimes, right? And then for me, sometimes it's just scrapping it on a shelf for years. And that what I'm trying to do now, thanks to the great advice of Abby Peterson and a book that he suggested, The Magic of Thinking Big, is just going like, okay, I'm I'm hating myself right now in this project. I don't feel like I'm good at this. I don't feel like I know what to do next. I don't enjoy it. I would rather be doing something else. And I take that thought process and I go, yeah, but you're really good at this. Yeah, but this is going to turn out great when it's done. You're going to love the way this looks.
Oh wow.
You, you know what I mean? You're talking to yourself, and what it is it's saying to your it's self encouragement. It's not so much about projecting this ego or having this sort of attitude that I'm the best and I know what I'm doing. It's more of like, hey, watch how you talk to yourself when you're working. Try to have a positive internal dialogue when you're working with the project. Yeah, listen to the voice that tells you the head is too big, the head is too small. That's important. That's going to make the carving better. But not so much the voice that says you're a worthless pile of you know what.
Why are you even carving this? You don't have no
Yeah,
idea what you're doing.
yeah. So and
You're
so is
so
way better at this than you are.
you're
Right.
so far over your head.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of the it's so diluted by the self help garbage books and crap that's out there, the secret and the power of manifesting things in your life. It's not at all to do with that. It's more just to do with the fact of many of us have bad relationships to ourselves. We don't respect ourselves. We don't like ourselves. We don't have a good standing with ourselves, and so we're working on that and trying to improve the way that we think about ourselves, and specifically regarding our work, because that's what we're talking about, carving. So
Yeah.
it helps.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I was just laughing when you were saying that. I was just thinking about what goes through my head. Like, what do you even, why are you even trying? You have no
Mm-hmm.
idea what you're doing.
Yep.
Like you said, you start comparing yourself. Well, I can't be anything like that guy, or
Yep.
I can't carve this
Yeah.
face like Alec.
Yeah, or look
And
at Lucas Kost's arms. Look at the arms on this guy. It's so good, Or it's like, I could never carve arms like that.
yeah,
Uh,
but
I mean,
on top of it all, the thing that I don't have where I fail is that I have no patience.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I get rammy and I try to do things faster, and then I get
Mm-hmm.
frustrated, and that's when I throw them in the garbage. It's like, I can't do it. I wrecked it.
Yep.
But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's
Yep.
funny. But as far as doing things you hate too, I learned this many years ago. If I know I have to do something in the day and I'm not looking forward to it, that's the
Mm-hmm.
very first thing I'll do in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Knock it out and don't think about it again. You got to do it anyway. You might
It's
as well
good.
do it. And
Yep.
I do that quite often. Just
Hmm.
hit the crappiest job of the day first, and then it's done.
Cool. I like
So
that. Yeah, I
yeah.
like that. Yep.
So, but in the carving world, what jobs do you dislike the most? I probably the packaging and the mailing and
Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing about it. Here's the conundrum. The things that I like the most, well, let's say it this way: the things that I like least in carving are often as a part of projects that end up being my favorite projects. Almost
yep,
always. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah. It's just, I mean, I don't want to go over there to the deer project. I don't want to try and make this appearance of it erupting from a log. I know it's going to look awesome. I know it's a cool concept because the guy who thought of it was really brilliant. The graphic designer who commissioned it, and I would, and I know the idea is there, and I know I can do it, but I don't enjoy the thought process of it. I don't enjoy thinking about it because there's no part of my brain that knows what to do with that thought. I've never done it. There's no track that I can follow. There's nothing that I've built in my mind to understand how to carve the antlers or how to, what the anatomy of the deer is like, or this and that. So if the more unfamiliar a project is, the more I feel like my feet don't touch the ground, the less I like it.
yeah, yeah. Well, when you said that, I was thinking about the things that turn out the best, and I hate having to make a video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love having a video.
Right. Right.
I procrastinate and no one's telling me when I have to do it, but in
Right.
my head, I have this, I pressure myself all week long, and then I make excuses to procrastinate farther and farther. And then last Friday night, it's like, oh, I got to make a video. And I go in with the wrong attitude. But then when I'm done, I'm like, yes, I'm so
Right.
happy. I almost get a high off of it
Yep.
that I got it done. And then they edit it. And then I'm totally happy with it.
Yeah.
But just getting to the step of doing it is the hardest.
Yep.
Make up
Totally relate to that. Yeah, I totally relate to that.
make up all these other jobs. It's not even that I hate it. I just hate listening to myself talk
Yep.
and hoping that the one I'm doing is going to turn out. Just now it's being filmed, right?
Yeah.
So if it doesn't, I got to do it again, right? So anyway,
Right. Yeah.
so anyway, like I said, I hate getting to the point of filming, but then when it's done, I'm happy to have the video and
Right.
happy to see it in my library. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When the stakes are high, but I mean, outside of that, I don't love having to sand big projects. Once the carving is done, I kind of just want it to be done. And on a big thing, you've got a ton of sanding to do. You've got a lot of refining. I really like the roughing in. I like the refining to a point, but then the detailing stuff, I always put that off. I always like to get things 90% there, and then put them up on a shelf and finish them later. So
Yeah, see, that's where that's where where it comes in that I have no patience, that I could never put it on the shelf unfinished.
yeah.
I,
Well, you do have patience. You do have patience, but you have patience for what you love, and some the parts that you don't love, it's harder to have patience for.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking about my kids, how that relates to my kids. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah. What is that thing that's like? Don't let your kids do anything that makes you not like them or something. What is that?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But we have some good emails this week, don't we?
Well, before we get to the emails, big thanks, because we got some coffees this week.
Yeah. Cheers.
Keelan, Kealan. I'm not sure how you say it, Kellen or Keelan, but bought us coffee. We have an anonymous bought us coffee, and Sly IM bought us some coffee. So big shout out and thanks to them for buying us coffee. This is a good coffee week.
Thank you, guys.
Must be close to Christmas.
Yeah.
So
We don't take it for granted. We appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
It helps keep us motivated to do it.
So speaking of Sly IM, he has an email here, says, my wife and I enjoy the show. I watch it alone. If I watch it alone, I feel like I'm cheating on her. He looked up the definition of whittler on the Googles, and this is the first one that came up. The definitions of a whittler: someone who whittles, usually as an idle pastime. And the type of, it says, a bum, a do-nothing, an idler, a layabout, and a loafer. So there you go.
There you go. Oh,
Have we ever talked about that before? Our definitions of whittling?
No. Well, we've gotten dragged into these conversations about art and what's a craft and what's an art and all that about whittling.
Okay, so to me, the origins of whittling was people sitting on their porch with a stick, just making shavings.
Yeah.
Not even creating anything.
Right.
But then so when they started making figures and stuff, they still called that whittling. But then somehow it became, now you can it's just a knife for a whittle. You can't use any other tools other than your wood carving, you see?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
But I think if I'm carving, even if I throw a couple extra tools in, to me, this is always going to be a whittle. It's not going to be right?
Right. No, I agree with that. Maybe there's like a YouTuber whittle or a modern interpretation of whittling now with like the spike and the size too. Yeah, is a big part of it. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't really carve a big carving with just a knife. It wouldn't make sense.
No, not too big. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was funny. Okay. He's looking for merch. You didn't put in you talked about your mom's cups last week. Did you put anything under the
Yeah.
description?
Yep. In the
Oh, you
comments
did?
below. Yeah, in the comments you
Okay.
can see the email.
So
Yeah.
check the description. Whoever was asking for that
The email,
cup.
the messages. It's in the form of a message. Yep.
No, okay.
Or a comment. Sorry, I'm sorry, a comment. Yep.
Nadia says, "Hi guys, a question for the mailbag. Do you ever get critical or hate comments? And if you do, how do you deal with them? Did you develop a thick skin at some point? Love the show. Thanks, Nadia."
How do you answer that?
I get hate comments all the time.
Mm-hmm.
To be honestly fair, though, probably the last year has been the best year yet. And probably because I got more and more out of the bushcraft camping kind of stuff. And
Right.
the wood carvers are all great, of course, right?
Right.
There's only a couple that I've blocked recently, but if it's some jerky comment, I just delete it at this point. But yes, you do develop a thick skin because I've learned to not. What do they say? The one bad egg, but one bad comment out of 100 just throws out the 99 positive comments. For real, you can dwell on that one comment and say, "What was he think? Do you know how I don't? Where's his videos? How much time does he put into this? You know?"
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's like, let's see what you're doing, bud.
Yeah. What did this cost you to watch? What are you complaining about?
Right.
But so what I used to do for therapy was I used to just write the nastiest reply, or not the nastiest, the reply that was in my head.
Right.
And I would just type it all out and then delete the whole thing and the person.
Yeah. I've actually you've talked about that to me before, and I've had to employ that a couple of times. But my favorite thing to do is to do that and to screenshot it, that response, my initial smart aleck response, and then send that to my friends or my family so that I can get the cathartic energy out of saying, "Isn't this a hilarious response? Can you imagine?" And then I don't send it.
But it definitely is frustrating, though. You work so hard, and then somebody who has no vested interest in it, or it just comes in there and just. But that's what people do. I don't like. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on any of these other things that people just argue all day long. Like, there's just trolls in the world, and they just love to stir the pot. So
they're not.
They're not worth your time. So, so Daryl.
Yeah, one thing I'll say before you get into the next one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it does like Doug said, it doesn't stop bothering you the more it happens. But one thing that I'll say has been helpful is to let it's easier to dismiss the stuff that's totally founded in ignorance. Like somebody commented on a video recently, like, when you can do that in real wood, then I'll be impressed. Right? It's like, well, if that was the case, if what he was saying was true, if I'm not regularly carving quote unquote real wood, I would feel upset because maybe he's right. Okay. Yeah. So, but it's easy for me to be like, okay, well, I mean, I just finished carving quote unquote real wood, not bark. I'm assuming this is a bark related comment. So obviously that does, it's like water off a duck's back, but the closer to the truth the criticism is, I found the more I have the more upsetting it is, and B, the more I have to sit back and say, okay, since there is some truth to this based on my reaction to it, what can I do to improve? Say somebody says, you're really not good at this aspect. Okay. You I don't know. I don't like when it's not just opinion oriented, it's like, yeah, you need to get better at that. It's like, okay, maybe there's some value in the person who doesn't know to not say something critical at the right time. Yeah. It's like, so trying to find the stuff that you can improve you is good, but most of the stuff is just ignorant and it doesn't bother you because it's like, I bet he's stupid or his carving.
So yeah, I think I've told the story before on the podcast, but I remember having this one little troll that just kept jabbing at me all the time. And I went and followed him back to his page and it was a little chubby little 12-year-old boy playing. Had a couple Minecraft videos.
Yep.
And
that's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, this little turd's gonna bother me? I don't think so. Right?
Yeah. This kid doesn't even watch your videos. He's just found somebody to piss off, right?
So I've just taken his face and put it on all the troll comments and said
that's
they're
awesome.
not worth your time. So
that's great. That's great.
Excuse me. Daryl Daw asks, "Hey, you guys, we've been talking about signing our work a little more lately. I tried to carve a little keepsake for the athletes I coach and sign them with a Sharpie. In my head, there has to be a better way. How do you guys do it? I think I want a maker's mark or something like that at some point, but I don't know how we'll get one. But I like the way you sign. Go ahead."
I used to have a maker's mark, like a brand that I would stamp carvings with. I still have a stamp, but I almost never use it. I just might as well carve it in with a V-tool. I just sign it with a V-tool. I mean, it's not hard to do.
I've watched you do that many times.
Right. Yeah.
And I like that. But what I've been doing, I think I talked. Oh, actually, we did talk about this last week. But when I talk about these bases,
there's that, by the way, just so he can see how sloppy my handwriting is.
Yeah.
Just sign it.
Oh. Yep. I've been using the wood burner.
Yeah.
And just signing.
Right. I like that.
What I always hated was, perfect example why I like having the base too, for that reason that I can sign it. But the bottoms are always so rough and dirty, so you're signing end grain all the time on these kind of carvings. So I do like having the back to sign.
Yep.
But if you use a marker or something on end grain, same as the paint, it bleeds. It bleeds. Yeah. It looks terrible. So.
Right.
Anyway, I have a little round ball tip on my wood burner, and I just sign it.
Yeah, that's great. I like that.
I say that I've done like 5 out of 5,000. Right. Normally, I just take a pencil or a pen and scribble something.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you seal it, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So there you go. Brian, congratulations on your 90th episode. There you go. Lots of nice things he says. His question, in regards to books related to your carvings, I appreciate the videos wholeheartedly, but pausing videos as I carve is a bit of a pain. That's mainly because you're fast and I'm slow. Do you have plans on releasing any tutorial books on your carvings, Alec?
Yeah, well, I'm still waiting for Doug's. I think I'll convince him eventually. I do think I'm gonna keep working on him, and he'll do something for you guys. But in the meantime, you'll have to put up with me, because that's something that is already kind of done. Hopefully, I mean, we're into like the second stage of the editing process, and the book is about carving faces, and it's supposed to be kind of like holistic, male, female, aged, young, kind of like covering the basics of realistic faces in wood, and but yeah, it's like still not fully done, and yet it won't be out until I think like the spring of this coming year, so like March or so. But yeah,
March will be here soon enough.
Yeah, well, it is December. Holy smokes, you're right. Yeah, it's like 4 months away, right? Yeah. February, March. Yeah, wow.
So as far as my book goes, there's no book.
Not yet. There isn't.
I don't. Not my greatest priority.
Right.
Well, I told you before. What would be cool if I stuck to the 1x1 carving? It'd be cool to have a book of like 50 1x1 carvings.
Oh yeah.
Just like, Jack Price has 50 compact characters.
Yes.
That'd be cool to have 50 1x1 carvings.
I would love to see you do that. That'd be awesome.
But again, I am not going to... when you're making up one carving a week, that takes a while. It takes enough just to make up the carving. So
yeah. Well, you can pull on previous work too. You don't have to
Well,
I mean, you can take the ideas that you've come up with before, and they're all yours anyway.
well, you know what's funny now? Let me just grab one right here. So all these, see now I'm backtracking because since I love the bass, I'm going to talk about the week of the bass. Uh, but I was looking back at my first 1x1 carpets and going, well, if these guys had a bass, that tail could have dropped down and come around and you know what I mean? Like you could use the bass to your advantage. And
Yeah.
maybe before I get too far, I should go back for myself at least and recarve some of these to
Yep.
have a bass like a little mushroom on grass. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like so before I get too far, I should decide how I want to proceed. But
Well, in design, if like for instance, you take a ceramics 101 class, they always talk about how even a chamfered edge at the base of a planter or a box or a jewelry thing, whatever, is going to elevate it, literally physically elevate it off of the ground, create a shadow.
yeah,
And that's what a base, what it does is it creates a sense of significance. It makes it look more important. It puts it, it's like the term putting it on a pedestal. It comes from that. It's like
but
makes it look better, or
every time,
at least more significant.
but when I bump the desk, they fall over because you want the feet smaller, so it's always a wobbly. So that's
Yep.
my biggest. This is one I did probably 4 or 5 years ago.
I like that.
He's got the bass for that
Yeah.
same reason. So why didn't I learn from myself?
Yep.
Yeah, it says Doug Linker 21, so that
Yeah.
wasn't only a couple years ago.
Right.
But anyway, I lied. That was not our last question, or it was our last question because we missed Harry, bought us a coffee.
Oh.
So sorry, Harry, we didn't include you with the group. But yeah, that's it for the questions. Those are good questions this week.
They are. We forgot the mailbag guitar part.
I'm going to talk while you bring it there just so you can get roasted. Yeah, so today, guys,
That was mailbag. And this is
no,
media.
we can do it again.
What?
You gonna do it again? Yeah, that was for the mailbag. Now we'll do the media.
Yeah. Exactly. So what you been listening to? What you been reading? What you been taking in? Anything?
Okay, so I'm gonna set this up so that you understand why this excites me so much. Okay, so and this goes in with our photography talk too. That I can't take a decent picture to save my life.
Right.
But in the years past, I did a video of one with my wife Sophie. I think it was a day hike hike with my wife, and super glue. And we made this little raft and these little acorn people, and we floated down the creek, and that was probably 4 years ago. And then recently, again, maybe 2 years ago, I made a little gnome holding a little clay pot, and I put it in the bush with a trail camera, and we had the turkeys, the deer came by, all the birds and squirrels and possums, and maybe a raccoon even all came. Because I fill it full of bird seed,
Right.
and so I had that on trail camera. So anyway, all that to say is David M. Bird, and he makes these little guys beacorns, and I'm not sure on Instagram if he's under David M. Bird or if he's under beacorns. But he has a YouTube channel as well, and he makes these little acorn people and places them like in a place where he can get the most beautiful pictures of them interacting with nature. So cool. Like I said, I should go on. But anyway, so he makes videos on YouTube about the process of trying to get that picture, because he doesn't sell his little acorn people. He sells beautiful pictures. So
That's cool. And it remind us of his name again.
David M. Bird.
M. Bird. Okay.
And the people, I'm not sure for some reason if it's his YouTube channel or his Instagram, but they're Beacorns. Becorns. He calls the little acorn people. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I watched all of his videos there that because he spends weeks with a little remote, sets up the shot, and just sits there and watches and waits to take pictures of these. They're just little tiny guys, eh? And then he has a bird come in and a bird bath, or anyway, you have to check him out.
Yeah,
super cool. So
that is cool.
But anyway, like I said, that's something that I like doing, but he just does it with excellence. Like the pictures are just excellent. So
yeah.
It's always fun to create something to play with the animals and stuff. I love going to check my trail camera just to see who interacted with my gnome while I was away. So I like to do more stuff like that.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. So that's my media.
Yeah.
So
I like it. I like that. Zach Top is a country artist that came up in my feed a couple of weeks ago, or like a week ago. And I really don't like his genre of music. I don't like modern country for the most part. I have a hard time getting into it. I wouldn't listen to it. I'm not listening to the top country artists, the hits or anything, but this guy is so undeniably good at singing. His vocal range and control and the flutters that he does, the stylistic elements to what he does, these little vocal flutters and pitch changes, and his ability on the guitar is like matched to his singing, which is really rare. Usually you see one, like with a Stapleton, you've got very solid guitar playing, but unmatched singing, like an unbelievable singing to very good guitar playing. But what I've seen with Zach Top is this guy has got amazing guitar playing and amazing ability to sing and vocal control, and it makes you just like him, even though the genre I don't care about that genre that much, but it's just the quality is so high. So
how do you spell his last name?
T-O-P, Zach Top.
Just like it sounds, yeah.
Yeah. And so he's been somebody who, I'm not necessarily a big, I've listened to his albums or his album. I don't know if he has more than one out. It's like kind of your typical, lyrically is probably his weakest point. No offense if anyone ever hears this who knows him, but I doubt it. He needs to work on his lyrics. They're like the typical, like, I got my wife and I'm into her and she's got a beer and my truck broke down and my dog is sick, kind of stuff. But yeah, so the recorded stuff is not as fun to listen to as like these little ditties on YouTube he'll do. So I do not like, I have a hard, if I listen to an artist acoustically singing who is not really, really like strong, it ruins it. Like if they can't sit down with a piano without all the fancy production stuff, the money that goes into the auto voice modulation stuff, it's like I can't get into that if it's not just raw. If it's just good, I'll always do this. This is like that's like a quality check or something. I don't know what it is I'm doing, but I can't get into it otherwise. So
yeah, I know I can do none of it, so I can't critique.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So there it is. Well,
I think we did it. I think we did it again.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Take
See
those
you next
vitamins.
week.
Take them.
Take them.